What happens when two of the most plugged-in people in digital care team up to help you make sense of the chaos? Welcome to Control Plus Care. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Katie.
This is your weekly briefing on the most important digital care updates. We're unpacking what you need to know this week in under 30 minutes. Well, first, Katie, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. I've had a little break, some sunshine, went to Valencia, had a glorious couple of days of sort of 24-degree heat in October, which just lovely, really. How are
that's
you?
nice. My kitchen flooded and I spent this weekend emptying the kitchen. And it turns out, I don't have a diagnosis, but when you go, oh, there's a thing, there's some more things that meant I couldn't see the other version of that thing, and there's some more things that meant I couldn't see the third version of that thing. Maybe I've got some issues with my object permanence.
I see.
My sisters had a wonderful time, though, and they took a lot of stuff home.
Okay. Well, there's that. And are you going to have a whole new kitchen now?
To be decided, because I'm dealing with an insurance company who are like, we've sent a surveyor, but the surveyor can't tell me anything until someone else comes to dry the kitchen. To dry the kitchen, they've got to remove all of the flooring, all without telling me whether or not they're going to replace my kitchen.
Okay, so you need to be careful on the new kitchen Pinterest board until it's confirmed. You don't get carried away.
Otherwise, I'm going to IKEA. I am ordering the cheapest one to replace the bits that they've ripped out to dry.
Fair.
So yeah, a different weekend to yours, Katie,
yeah, it's really a tale of two halves here. I mean, I would recommend Valencia if you want some rest and recuperation.
Next time I'm booking your weekends.
Okay,
but I would not wish my weekends on you.
No, thank you. I don't want it. I live in a flat as well, so I would have to be dealing with the downstairs neighbours if that was to happen, which is a jewellery shop, and I don't want to deal with their insurance company.
Absolutely not. Well, let's get on with the news.
Yeah, and we have some exciting big announcements this week for things that we've been doing, which is a bit unusual for us in this podcast to sort of talk about our own work, but thought we should probably share.
Yeah, because the team have worked so hard on these things, and they are really exciting. And I love, my favourite part of this job is giving free stuff to the sector.
Yeah, it's just the best.
Especially at a time when everything seems to cost so much and be so inaccessible. So most of you will know I run Better Security, Better Care, which is the adult social care cyber resilience program on behalf of DHSC. And a big part of that remit isn't just getting people to sign up for the DSPT. It's also about giving them the tools for them to implement it meaningfully. So a big part of our website since day one has always been that we provide policy templates, and they're really useful and they're downloaded dozens of times a week. They're really popular. But I don't know about you. We've just talked about my object permanence. Sometimes if I download something that's fully done, I never look at it. So, yes, you might have these policies, but are you using them? Are you tailoring them properly to your organization? The research we did said probably not, especially about things like the cyber resilience and the data protection, which isn't, I hate to say it for some of our colleagues, really your priority as a care provider. Shocking. I know that's news.
I know.
So we are just trying to make it as easy as possible for you to actually get you using it. And our policy tool is all about you being able to go and use a very interactive tool that enables you to create a policy that is bespoke to your organization, that has everything in it that is actually meaningful to you. And the process of going through it in that way means that you know exactly what's in there because you made those choices. So we have launched this week our Bring Your Own Device policy as our first one. So that is our trial run. We have got, I think, at least 11 to follow. So we're going to have a really comprehensive set of policies. It's an area of our website that you can log into, so you will be able to store them there, and more importantly, be able to port some of that information. So we're not expecting you to every time put in the name of your organization, the name of the contact. All of that will be populated in this tool. It is completely free to access. It will be available for you year on year. And yeah, I'm really excited. I think this is something quite special, and the fact that it is free to access and use feels rare.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and having had an opportunity to sort of work with the prototype of it and sort of see the live build now as well, I just think it's so much more dynamic. It gives you so much more choice around sort of
Hmm.
the approach that you're taking. As I was the person who drafted quite a lot of the initial policies that sat on our website back in sort of 2018, 2019. Now they've obviously been updated and changed. It's not just been me. Many of these have been developed by other people
It's been
since
mostly
then.
Katie.
Uh, it depends, some of them, not bring your own device, but yeah. And as somebody who drafted policies, sometimes I was like, I don't know if I want to read it and I'm writing it. So I do know there is a tendency to sort of go, okay, well, that's been written out. So actually
Yeah.
have an option which is more bespoke, more personalized, I think is really, really good. I think also we had a lot of feedback from care providers about what they really
Mhm.
wanted to see in this builder tool. So have taken that on board and have that opportunity as well. You can set a reminder for yourself. So yeah, if you choose, you don't have to, but if you choose to log in and build one, you can say, remind me to review this in 12 months' time, and it will do that
Which
for you.
I would 100% need.
Oh, absolutely. Otherwise, my brain is like, no, that's done. We can move on. We don't need to think about that again.
We've talked about this before, Katie. Our calendars are none of our business until the day before.
Absolutely. We're so organized. Never, ever the day before an event going, have you booked a hotel? Where are you
That
staying?
hasn't happened today for
Never.
sure.
Mm-mm.
We are
Hey,
professionals.
a day ahead today, I have definitely been on the train down to London before while also booking a hotel on that train. So comparatively, we're fine.
But anyway, I really like this. It is something we've been asked for, which is another reason that I'm really pleased that we've been able to offer it. It is, we've led with the bring your own device because, again, when we spoke to providers, they were like, this is the really hard one because we want to keep this, but how do we manage it? Because it's one of the most critical kind of risks for a lot of people,
Yeah.
cybersecurity. What I would say is if you go online, if you try it out, give us some feedback. We have done a lot of testing. We have done a lot of kind of work with providers to make sure that this works. But we've been working with those people who were already interested. And I'm interested in the people who are like a little bit skeptical of it because that's
Mhm.
what really makes us better at what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, please give us feedback. We're obviously developing more policy tools as well. So, we'll definitely want feedback on those. So, yeah, hopefully people find it helpful.
Fab. Well, that is the end of our announcements. And now it is on to news.
Yeah.
And it's a biggie.
Huge.
So we are recording this at the start of the week when this has just happened. I'm sure over the coming days, news will progress. But this morning, I just thought the internet was against me. I'd gotten onto about 4 websites that were all kind of, we're having issues. We can't log in right now. And I was like, this is weird. I went on to one of our favorite sites, which is the Outage checker. And it was like down, 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 down. And we're talking big names. We're talking Lloyd's was down and Bank of Scotland was down.
Yeah.
Amazon, obviously. So essentially, there was an outage today caused by some servers on the East Coast of America. And it was Amazon Web Services, which is the underpinning infrastructure for an awful lot of big websites.
Yeah.
And it's been hugely problematic for people. Now, what I will say from our point of view in health and social care is one of the things that we're mandated to do is keep our information in the UK, and this specifically has happened in America. But there has been some impact on some NHS trusts. Now, whether that's been something hinky with their service particularly, but we also know that a lot of the data held at those services being rerouted to other data centers around the world to compensate for it while the outage is still ongoing.
Yeah.
So really interesting. I think it's a really, similar to the CrowdStrike incident. This isn't a
Yeah.
cyber attack, but it is a cyber incident.
Mhm.
This is the kind of thing that you need to be mitigating for in your plans. And is a sign of really how fragile the internet is.
Oh, definitely. I mean, thousands of different websites have been impacted by
Mm,
this. And, while it looks like personal data in from a health and care perspective in the UK has been fine because obviously it's not servers within Europe that we'll be
yeah.
storing personal data on, still see lots of impacts in other ways. So, I mean, Zoom was impacted, for example. I mean, in our team, absolute nightmare that Canva was down. How
Yeah,
am I meant to do that? There was a lot of stress in our Teams channel
Mhm.
about Canva not working today. But all of these things do have business impact, even if it's not part of sort of like core
Yeah.
service delivery. And I think it just sort of shows us how fragile things can be. There's
Yeah.
nothing that an individual organization can do to prevent a server outage with Amazon Web Services, right?
Mhm.
So, right, how are we thinking about how we mitigate for that should it happen to our services? Do we make sure we have those business continuity plans in place? We talk about this all of the time,
Yeah.
but it's Cyber Awareness Month. So, the least we can do.
But I mean, I think the thing for us is so many of the tools that we use now. So even if it's not our core data, the services we use are so reliant on things like Amazon Web Services. For example, Slack was down.
Hmm.
People throughout the tech world rejoiced as they couldn't be contacted. I've got friends who work in like international organizations. It's not really easy to like if I've got a small care home, it's probably easy for me to grab everyone's phone numbers and throw a WhatsApp group together.
Yeah.
If you've got 6,000 employees, that is less simple.
Oh, definitely.
And we know that there are some providers in social care who are enormous providers, enormous employers. They have significant staff. How do you get information to them in times like this? How do you find out what the actual problems are on the ground for your organization and then reach out to them to respond? And I think we are seeing these outages become more of a growing problem because there are fewer organizations. There's no one really competing with Amazon Web Services.
Yeah.
They are huge organizations. Now, from everything we can see, this has been a really teeny tiny error. This has caused dramatic and instant outages that has taken, this was 9 o'clock this morning. It's still going on this evening. So we do need to be aware that we aren't in control of the mistake happening, but we absolutely know how we're going to mitigate it when, not if, it does.
Yeah. And having those communication channels, as you said, Michelle, is so vital. How are we making sure that people know what's going on? How can we get in touch with them? And it might be we go back to having, a list of important phone numbers printed out so we can
Yeah.
contact people outside of, a company portal if need be. But yeah, we need to make sure we've got it thought through because the last thing you need is a server going down, which has got all of the phone numbers of the people you need to ring if there's an emergency.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at how much of the banking industry went down today. Lloyds,
Yeah.
Halifax, Bank of Scotland, all down for a significant amount of time. If you've got payments to be made, if you've got transactions going through in a sector where we know cash flow is not plentiful. It can be, very often down to the line on payroll.
Yeah.
You need to know what you're going to do if that goes wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Really scary stuff.
Yeah. Now, obviously, as I say, things will probably pan out in the next few days, but what we would always as well advise is in the aftermath of an incident like that, scams go through the roof.
Yeah.
So, maybe send a message to your teams, maybe make sure that people are aware and hyper vigilant for communications from organizations. Like I can see messages from fake banks. This is Lloyd's where I can just see the messages now being sent round and it just takes one panicked click.
Definitely. I mean, especially, thinking about staff who might be banking with these institutions. Also, anybody using a personal budget as well, who may well be very nervous about it. I think having a little bit of awareness raising, appreciate it's been all over the news today, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the way that it might impact individuals has trickled down. Yeah.
And for all those people on a Wordle streak, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that my mum devastated by NYT games going down today. She not having a great time. The morning family WhatsApp group did not get woken up with her Wordle score this morning. I think for the first time in about 3 years. So, bless her.
So sorry, Mandy.
I know. I hope she'll recover. The streak will come back.
I don't know. We love data, and a streak is just more data.
I know. She's so funny about it. I have reassured her that I am sure that all of her data are safe and that people are not trying to actively attack her for her Wordle scores.
Or even just undermine them by incorrectly guessing.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can imagine she'd be upset thinking that might happen.
Well, you've got an important to have the same starting word every day, obviously. She's not a heathen.
I'm not a Wordle player, but I just know a few people who are very passionate about it.
Yeah, I think my mum is basically one of the few people still keeping alive. It feels like a sort of throwback to 2023 when everyone was doing it.
A little bit, a little
But yeah,
bit.
no, my mum keeping alive Wordle and also AOL email addresses, which I didn't know still existed.
So she has to plug into dial-up to get to it.
Yeah, I know, with all of the noises and everything.
Is there still a disc?
She's quite techie. I have no idea how this has happened.
Maybe she's onto something and no cyber hacker is ever going to attack AOL email.
Right? There we go.
Let's not call out Casey's mum on this podcast.
Sorry, mum. So story, I think, which is also wanted to touch on this week, was obviously Skills for Care's latest update to all of their data, probably the largest data set that we have at all for adult social care. Just under 55% of all CQC registered care providers give data to Skills for Care every year to create the adult social care sector landscape report. We know this data is used everywhere. It's used by government, it's used by regulators, it's used by local authorities to really think through about planning services. And there's data dashboard for care providers as well, right? To be able to sort of benchmark themselves against other organizations, see what national trends and averages are, particularly around things like staff pay. So huge data set. We're not going to go into it a huge amount of detail today because I've invited colleagues from Skills for Care to come along in a couple of weeks to do the deep dive, explain all of the data analytics to us. I'm certainly not a data analyst, so I do obviously love data. So having somebody who can explain exactly how it all works, I think will be really useful. But just sort of some highlights that I think is worthwhile us bearing in mind when we talk about social care. I think we can tend to think of ourselves as quite small organisations in general. But this report shows that we remain one of the largest workforces in England. About 1.6 million filled posts, which means that we are still a larger employer than the NHS in adult social care. And also an estimated economic contribution of £77.8 billion, which I think is just really important for us to remember that we are actually a net contributor to the economy as social care. So that's all really positive. I think also really positive to see that vacancy rates have continued to fall in the sector. They're down from 10% in 21-22 to less than 7% now. Obviously, some of that to do with international recruitment, but these are really positive trends that we're starting to see, and kind of having that data to hand always incredibly helpful.
I don't think I've ever given a presentation that doesn't have some reference to this and these statistics.
No.
Particularly the size and scale of the sector. That is the thing that people are always surprised about, even from within the sector.
Oh, absolutely. I forever am quoting the workforce statistics and the size and scale of the different organisations. And I'll need to update myself because for a long time I've been saying, and local authorities employ 7% of the adult social care sector. Haven't checked that on this new data. We'll need to make sure if that's still true or if that figure has changed. But people are always shocked, I find, when you go, wait, that little is local authority? Yeah.
Because in people's heads, care comes from the local authority. And we're a sector made up of 85% SMEs.
Yeah.
So, your world looks very small when you're running a small business, but you're actually part of a not insignificant market that, I think that points around what we do contribute to the country. Because I think sometimes the perception of social care is that we're a drain, that we are, we're a cost, but actually we're contributing jobs and income and, all of that tax and all of that money that is moving around the economy is flowing through social care.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're just improving people's lives, supporting people to live the lives that they want.
Yeah.
And really embedded in local communities. It's a community in care. And I think that's just, I don't know, it just makes me really happy to sort of remember some of the powerful impact we can have as a sector.
Oh, massively. There's a reason that we do this
Mm,
here and this job. Like, I really am a big believer that like social care is absolutely where I'm supposed to be.
yeah.
Maybe later on there's a career in selling insurance. I don't particularly see it, but
I would be astonished, honestly.
I'd sell
What a
so much insurance.
You would, but it would be such a rogue pivot. To be like, are you having a crisis, Michelle? What's happening?
Is Michelle okay? Absolutely not.
Yeah, definitely no.
But I love this sector, and the more time I spend in and around it, just the more meaningful it is. But to have something here that really sets out what's going on, what it looks like, what it means to people, and what it contributes is incredibly valuable. And that this is seen by policymakers as so
Yeah.
valuable. But as we say, we are going to have one of our colleagues on with us who we are going to grill.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
they better have checked the facts before they come.
Yeah.
We're not that kind of podcast.
We absolutely are. Yeah, it's still in less than 30 minutes and it will be a 5-minute segment, but it'll be a very grilling 5 minutes.
We'll ask 2 to 3 hard-hitting questions.
And in the meantime, do a full deep dive into the report ourselves, which obviously will be linked in the show notes in the meantime.
Yeah. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, please send them through to us.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay. That is all the news. Oh, there's been tons this week. It's been brilliant.
Yeah.
But we are on to our favourite segments.
It's
Cyber Squirrels. So, every week we go scrolling through the internet to see if we can find a story that is light-hearted, not particularly connected to social care, is, potentially funny, just something that's interesting. And like some of our kind of greatest hits so far have included, electricity generating pavements, a lot of electricity generating cement, was it? Concrete?
Yeah, like microbiomes which live in cement, which can store electricity, obviously. Yeah. Oh, and there was the dancing robot.
The AI magic.
Yeah.
It's been brilliant. We love this segment. So this week is my turn. And this one, not particularly funny. And actually, I say not related to social care. I think there are some like leaps and jumps here. So there was a story this week around drones delivering hot food. So this story particularly took place in Scandinavia because, for those of you that don't know, Scandinavia has lots and lots of tiny little islands along the edge of kind of Norway, Sweden, etc. That are quite hard to get to. A lot of boats. And I don't want my Indian delivered by boat, having left 4 hours ago.
No.
So, the idea being there's a company called, who I think of Mr. Trick, Foodora. I think their icon should have been a little man in a fedora, but it isn't. But, nobody asked me.
Oh, well, when you have your career pivot into marketing.
Any day now. Any day. So yeah, they are delivering hot food to these little islands via drone. And so we were talking about it previously, and our colleague Rihanna, who leads this, was just deeply uncomfortable with the idea of drones flying everywhere, certainly to deliver food. We know that Amazon has trialed it.
Yeah.
We also know there's been trials. I mean, there's one organization I know of who have been trying it around blood donation and potentially organ donation one day.
Yeah, which, significantly faster, right, than have a motorbike going down the motorway and getting stuck on the M6 somewhere.
I do always like to see them, though.
I know.
I'm like, oh, look at that guy.
My main thing with this is I just can't believe they've trialled it on the islands off the coast of Norway and Sweden. As somebody who, I lived in Iceland and Denmark, different bits of Scandinavia. The high wind speeds.
Well, I was thinking
this.
I was thinking this because I was like, they must have done this in the summer.
Yeah.
That's
You're not doing an Arctic storm with your drone, are you?
But it does kind of beg the question. Firstly, are we going to live in a world where there's just drones everywhere? I don't know.
No.
One of my there's things that just make you sad that don't happen yet. There's an idea that we are the last generation who'll know what the night sky looks like.
Oh.
Because of things like Starlink and massive satellites. But also, our skies will become, as the technology improves for collision avoidance and things like that, our skies will become more littered with things like drones. So on the one hand, I'm like, ooh, don't want that. But on the other hand, maybe not for hot food, but medicines and
Yeah.
care. Like if things can be taken to people where they need them, when they need them, that's a kind of nice idea.
It's kind of nice. And I was in Nottingham a couple of years ago and they were trialing not drones, but their little robot food
Oh,
delivery
yeah.
boxes, which can they wheel themselves and they beep to ask you to get out of the way. And honestly, I know that as humans we anthropomorphize robots, and I'm actually quite a robot skeptic. But it was very sweet to see them delivering the groceries, the little robots going along the road. I think that's quite fun.
That is, I mean, I think, again, when we talk about automation particularly, I want automation to be used to replace those jobs that people really don't want to do. And I think delivering my chippy on a Saturday night is probably a job that not many people get a lot of meaning from.
Mm.
So in that respect also, I'm like, okay, we could automate that. Is this the best way to automate it? I don't know. But yeah, I found this story and I mean, maybe it's because the drones were painted pink as well. I was just sucked in.
See, I didn't click on the link. I should have seen the image for it.
It's pink.
Okay, yeah, I'm all on board. Ignore everything that I said about high wind speeds. You've got a jazzy colour scheme.
Exactly. But yeah, I like that story.
It's a good story.
Okay, well, that's everything from us this week. Come back next week where we'll be discussing the latest digital news in care. So, what happens when two plugged-in people team up to demystify digital care? You get control plus care.
Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts, and all of the links mentioned today will be in the show notes.
Tell a colleague, especially you don't want them to be surprised if their next takeaway arrives by drone.